coming. Um, so now this is the burden of elders, that is the burden they have at the dawn of 2019 general election, and of course will touch the past, the present, and the future. So all Nigerians will remember on the 1st of October 1960, a brave new nation was born, symbolizing as well as signifying our collective hopes and aspirations for building a fair, just, egalitarian, and prosperous society founded on our unity in diversity. Our journey since then may have been difficult, but we have made some measure of progress, even if this may have been slow and incremental. The central reason for our unsteady journey is fairly obvious, as no nation can take a giant leap on the scale of human progress without true stewardship represented by a leadership on the scale of human progress, without true stewardship represented by a leadership that is visionary, honest, open, and patriotic. We can even admit that the steep decline in moral standards and value of human worth in Nigeria may have started many decades ago, but this overwhelming plunge into extreme greed and corruption of recent years has been a heartbreaking experience to us all, thus posing a clear and present danger to our children's well-being and that of generations to come. It is heart-rending for elders to stand by and watch as the nation bleeds profusely and pretend that all is well as it should be. The violent turn of expressions, deepened economic hardships, and increasing desperation of the national polity has to be reversed to keep hope alive. No matter how dimmed the eyesight of the elders are, our ears can still hear the pitiful cry of our grand and great-grandchildren braving desert treks and other equally hazardous routes to escape the pain that Nigeria's life has become. Neither are we ignorant of the sharp surge in drug abuse, prostitution, suicides, and resurgence of ritual murders in the land. When you add the problems of the Delta region, nefarious activities of Boko Haram, and the widespread violence arising from the grazing crisis due to pressure of increasing population on land, which several administrations have failed to deal with over the years, it becomes clear that our cherished nation is approaching a frontier it has never seen before. This is certainly not business as usual, and the trauma of the Civil War we survived should be a warning flag across all spheres of leadership. As we soak in all the attendant factors, including the toxic political culture, of the present hour, and the predatory tonality of the ongoing election processes, magnified by the fact that the country is still reeling from the shock of the postponed elections. It has become imperative that we must speak as, as elders. On the first, our first counsel to the nation, as it approaches this new frontier, is that INEC must be fully prepared to conduct the rescheduled elections seamlessly, and efficiently, in a manner that its outcome is adjudged by all of us to be free, and fair and credible. The political leaders, the candidates, the presidential candidates, and also other candidates, gubernatorial, etc., and their followers should conduct themselves with civility, decorum, and restraint in both their words and deeds in the period leading up to, during, and the aftermath of elections. INEC can only achieve success if the contending parties regulate their behavior and conduct in accordance with the democratic norms and law. We urge all participants to accept the final results announced by INEC, and where parties feel aggrieved, recourse should be made to dispute resolution mechanisms prescribed by the Constitution and the Electoral Act. The next president will be immediately confronted with a set of daunting challenges and opportunities under our system of constitutional democracy. The president is the vital nerve center of operations. The occupant of that office will be the central figure who must engage the vivid imagination and mobilize the energies of the citizens behind large, ambitious goals that will have transformative effect, on society. Accordingly, it is incumbent upon the president to lead the charge in articulating and implementing a long-term vision which would make Nigeria a prosperous and globally competitive economy by the year 2040. Mobilization of the populace is essential, and this is best achieved if broad segments of the population are represented in the exercise, given that the prosperity and welfare of Nigerian people must be at the epicenter of the visioning process. And furthermore, If Nigeria must join the rank of the world's leading economies by 2040, it must rely on development plans as the primary vehicle for delivering on the lofty goals and aspirations of the national vision. The complexion and character of the President's administration must be seen to transcend party, ethnic, regional, or religious affiliations. As a father of all, he should take concrete steps to calm frayed nerves, heal the nation's wounds, and give credence to our founding principles of unity in diversity. Given the enormity of the problems confronting the nation, the next president should seize the opportunity of the transition period to lay the foundation for establishing a strong, competent administration by hiring talented men and women who have the depth and breadth of experience, the dedication, drive and energy, and the honesty and patriotism to serve the country with distinction in all the key offices across the public sector and our national security establishment. Our second counsel to the nation concerns the urgent and compelling need to address our national security crisis, which is at the risk of spiraling out of control. We urge presidential proclamation of a national security emergency, which should result in the